Got this old gas bottle here. I think it's 40 pound bottle. So it's a little bit taller than your average propane tank. I think I'm gonna make a little miniature bottle stove out of it. A little wood stove heater. Just something simple. And I've got a homemade tool that I use to take those off. I think I've showed it before, to take these valves out. I've already evacuated all the gas from there's no gas in the cylinder, so that's pretty important. You don't want to be cutting into it or taking this out if it's full of pressure. So now that it's depressurized, I'm going to remove this valve here. This is a homemade socket. Great big 3/4 inch drive. Great big sucker. Heavy duty. It's been abused and used probably several hundred times. It's homemade. I made it myself. So it's just like a square rectangular tube. It's supposed to have 2 notches in it. One is a little bit smaller than the other, and it just drops down over there like that, and the notches are supposed to hit the sides, and that's how it works. Got a great big huge impact gun on it. It works better if I hold the socket with my other hand. That out safely, and now I need two main components. I need a door, and I need a coupler for some sort of exhaust pipe. So I think I'm going to get rid of this. It would be easier to work on the top of the tank if this was gone. That turned out pretty good. There's 3 welds, 1, 2, 3, and the ring just sits on there. Give them a little grindy, and then smack it with a chisel. So next thing I think is going to be to make an opening on the top for the exhaust. The exhaust might come out the top, center, it might come out the back, but this design is going to be really small footprint on the floor space. So yeah, so for minimal horizontal space, we're just gonna go vertical with it. It's kind of a vertical design. It has more surface area vertically, but it has a very small surface area footprint. So yeah, so it's not very big around, but it's got lots of surface area on the exterior. So need to make a hole here, no bigger than the exhaust flange or exhaust size. 5-inch diesel stack. diesel exhaust pipe, 5-inch. It's a little bit banged up, but there's a good section here somewhere. And that'll be a small exhaust pipe that's 5-inch. So it'll be 1 inch smaller than a 6-inch stovepipe, but it'll be 1 inch bigger than like a 4-inch, like a propane stove, or a pellet stove might use a 4-inch. So this is going to be a 5-inch. I cut off some of the shitty bent ends, and I'm left with something that's not too bad. There's one ding there, but I decided to embrace it for extra length, and I used it as a trace tool to trace the inside of the pipe. So this should be the inside of the pipe, and the pipe should be out here. So I'm gonna drill really close to that yellow line on the inside of the yellow line, all the way around. Probably make lots of holes. I might connect the dots later with a saw or something, or a grinder, but we'll see. Well, I made my yellow circle mark, and then I drilled 8 holes, 4 and then 4 more. And then I used the angle grinder and started cutting into the tank. Don't ever cut into a tank unless it's been purged, drained, evacuated. Fill it up with water, make sure there's no residual gases in there. Don't ever. But yeah, she's coming. So the idea, this is one of the bent ends that I cut off. The idea is just to put a simple stack on there. I'm gonna do some more. I'm gonna cut some more out here where the other holes are all the way around, and then probably weld a pipe on there. Hello? So my welds are looking pretty ugly today. So I just tack welded that 5-inch pipe on there after cutting out a good 5-inch hole. Yeah, so there's not much restriction there. The hole is just a little bit smaller than the inside of this pipe, and I just tack welded it on there. I'll have to get that welded later, or finish welding it later, and put some hinges on. My welds are pretty ugly there too, but I might clean them up. Just using a 110 flux core type welder. I'll have to build a latch. Have to build a door latch or a magnet or some setup. Yeah, I guess I'll have to build a door latch because magnet won't work. But yeah. Almost looks like a cannon. it's overall, it's about, with the stack that I put on there, it's about 5'10", I don't know how tall this tank is, but it comes almost up to my waist. The tank, not quite, I guess, just between the knee and the hip, I guess. I have to measure it. This is a 40 pounder, I believe. 40 pound propane tank.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
There's the exhaust. It's pretty clean when it's up to temperature. Little stove is just a giving her. This is the only air intake at the moment, so when I open it up it goes even faster. The paint is coming off. Looks like she's getting hot too. There's a big patch here where the paint just started, as soon as it got hot, paint comes off easier. Yeah, that'll make it easier to put high temperature paint on it, or just to remove the old paint. I think if I could do it again, I would probably put the exhaust pipe, I would offset it backwards a little bit, or maybe put it out the back. No, I'd probably move the exhaust pipe back a little bit and put like a flat cooking plate on the front here. I can probably still do that, but if you offset the exhaust back, you'd have more space, a bigger, hotter cooking surface.